You've got to be the light if you want to see the light. Because you reap what you sow, you meet what you know, and you see what you believe. Give a little of the good thing if you want to receive. And those were the lyrics of our song this morning. Wasn't that a great song? I love that song. It's great. And as you can tell, today's talk title came from them, and that is, to see the light, you've got to be the light. So toward the back of the Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes has some wonderful commentaries on the teachings of the New Testament. On page 550, he discusses the passage appearing at Matthew 10:8. Freely you have received, freely give. Ernest Holmes writes, when the law of circulation is retarded, stagnation results. It is only as we allow the divine current to flow through us and out that we really express. The law of giving and receiving is definite. Emerson tells us to beware of holding too much good in our hands. When our thoughts rest entirely upon ourselves, we become abnormal and unhappy. But when we give ourselves with enthusiasm to any legitimate purpose, losing ourselves in the thing which we are doing, we become normal and happy. Let those who are sad, depressed, or unhappy find some altruistic purpose into which they may pour their whole beings, and they will find a new inflow of life of which they have never dreamed. And I sure felt this yesterday. You know, we were giving without any expectation of anything. We're just pouring ourselves into picking up that part for the pure joy of doing it. And it did feel really amazing to do that. The Dalai Lama once said, the more we take the welfare of others at heart and work for their benefit, the more benefit we derive for ourselves. This is a fact that we can see. So really today, we're going to look at giving that good thing, which according to the great thinkers, teachers, and spiritual masters, places us squarely and happily in the flow of God's glorious good. And that's what I call living in harmony with life. So specifically this morning, we're going to look at two examples of what happens when you give a little bit of the good thing. And two, how you might want to think about giving that good thing. And three, finally, what good things might you want to give? Because remember, you've got to give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. So let's start with number one. What happens when you give a little bit of that good thing? I'm going to tell you a story. And I don't know if it's actually true or not, but it illustrates what happens when you give. And in the story, the good thing is the benefit of the doubt. So there was a monastery that had fallen on hard times. And actually, I've heard variations of this story, so I know it's probably a legend that's been passed down. Once a great order, this monastery was. Now only 5 monks remained in the broken down building. The abbot and 4 others, all over 70 in age. Clearly, it was a dying order. One day the abbot goes to a wise rabbi who lives in the same forest, and he goes there to ask for some advice. And the rabbi says, I have no advice to give you. The only thing I can tell you is that the Messiah is one of you. The abbot goes back and tells everyone that the rabbi really had no advice, but that he told him that one of them is the Messiah. So each monk begins to contemplate this idea. If that's the case, who is it? Could it be the abbot? Yes, if the rabbi meant anybody, he probably meant it was the abbot. He had been the leader of the order for more than a generation. He is very wise and very kind and very godly. But then the rabbi might have meant Brother Thomas. Certainly Brother Thomas is a holy man. He is a man of virtue and love and great spiritual strength. Certainly he could not have meant Brother Eldred. Eldred gets crotchety at times. But come to think of it, even though he is a thorn in people's sides, when you look back on it, Brother Eldred is virtually always right. Very, very often right. Maybe the rabbi did mean Brother Eldred, but surely he did not mean Brother Philip. Philip is so passive, a real nobody. But then, come to think of it, Philip has a gift for mysteriously always being there when you need him. He just magically appears by your side, and his soft countenance is so soothing and healing. Maybe Brother Philip is the Messiah. And of course, the rabbi didn't mean me. He couldn't possibly have meant me. I'm just an ordinary person. Yet, suppose he did. Suppose I am the Messiah. As they each contemplated the matter, the old monks began to treat one another with extraordinary respect and reverence for the off chance that one of them was possibly the Messiah. They were kind and caring, and on the off chance that each monk himself was a Messiah, they began to treat themselves with extraordinary respect and kindness as well. Because the forest in which the monastery was situated was beautiful, people occasionally came there to visit, and they came to visit the monastery and to picnic on its lawn, to wander along its paths even now and then, go into the dilapidated chapel to meditate. And they did so without even being conscious of it. They began to sense an aura of extraordinary respect, and now began to surround the 5 old monks that they saw this incredible aura coming from it, and it seemed to radiate out from them and permeate the atmosphere of the place. There was something strangely attractive, even compelling about it. Hardly knowing why, people began to come back to the monastery more and more frequently to picnic and play and to pray. They began to bring their friends and show them this special place, and their friends brought their friends. Then it happened that some of the younger men who came to visit the monastery started to talk more and more with the old monks. After a while, one asked if he could join them, then another and another. And within a few short years, thanks to the rabbi's gift, the monastery had once again become a thriving order and a vibrant center of light and spirituality. Each monk gave the other the benefit of the doubt and sowed the simple seeds of respect, kindness, and appreciation, both to their fellow monks and to themselves. And look what they reaped. Their monastery, which was dying, was brought back to life. I have a second story, and this one is true. And this story is what happens when you choose to be a giver of life. This time, the good thing given was financial support wrapped in compassion. In his young adult years, Abraham Lincoln had an intuitive knowing that meaningful work laid ahead for him, but he knew he would need to refine his intellect and acquire professional skills if he were to fulfill his destiny. In his frontier environment, however, few tools or opportunities for professional development were available, and Lincoln had no idea how this would come about. When you think about it, they didn't have iPads, they didn't have computers, there was no, universities down the street. It's kind of out in the wilderness there. One day, a stranger came by with a barrel full of odds and ends and old newspapers, and he offered to sell the lot to Lincoln for $1. Realizing this man was needy, Lincoln, with his characteristic kindness, gave him $1, although he had no idea how the barrel's contents would be of any use. When he later cleared out the barrel, he found among the junk an almost complete edition of Blackstone's commentaries. These books helped Lincoln become a lawyer and eventually enter into politics. And this story is told in Larry Dossey's book, Prayer is Good Medicine. And in this book, Dossey writes, the reverence and kindness Lincoln felt for another created an opening for a life-changing event that otherwise might not have happened. Lincoln did not get zapped during prayer with a sudden revelation of his life's work. Humble ingredients, a barrel of junk, a stranger down on his luck, $1, and Lincoln's innate compassion combined unspectacularly to help shape the destination of a nation and affect millions of people. So here you have two powerful examples of the idea Jesus and Ernest Holmes spoke of when they said, freely you have received, freely give. When the law of circulation is retarded, stagnation results. It is only as we allow the divine current to flow through us, on and out, that we really express. The law of giving and receiving is definite. It really does work that way. You reap what you sow, you meet what you know, and you see what you believe. So give a little bit of that good thing if you want to receive. So on to number 2. How shall we give the good thing? The energy that you give your giving is vital. The energy that you put behind it is vital. In order to reap that good thing, you absolutely must give with the intention of serving, of creating happiness for both you and the receiver. This is the energy that is life. So, and it's life supporting, it's life sustaining, and it generates increase. If through the act of giving you feel you have lost something, then the gift is not truly given, and the law of giving and receiving will be stagnated. If you give grudgingly, there is the wrong, and the wrong, it means that it doesn't work. Energy behind it, and frankly, your gift will not benefit anyone. The Lord loveth a cheerful giver. The Lord or law serves a free and willing giver. Whatever you give it with a free and willing spirit. Give it out of no obligations or strings attached. Then it will come back to you unburdened with obligations or restrictions in any form. Of course, the paradox is you don't give with the demand to receive, you give unconditionally, but we know that giving puts us in the flow of God's abundance good. So now for number 3, specifically, what good things might you want to give? New Thought author Eric Butterworth once wrote, "The reason why so many receive little is because they give out so little. They are poverty-stricken because they refuse to give. Whatever the nature of your possessions, give and give abundantly. You are to give of your life, your interest, your energy, your thought, your ability, your love, your appreciation, your helpfulness. In giving of your life, thought, and love, in doing gladly and well, whatever you may be called upon to do, you express your best. And the more you give, the more you receive. If today you believe your abilities are small and your powers are insignificant, begin now to make a more thorough use of them, and they will grow." So what do you give? Simple. Give what you want to receive. Now, you don't give so that you will receive, remember the paradox, but you give what you desire to have more of in your life. If you want more joy, give more joy. If you want love, give love. If you want attention and appreciation, give attention and appreciation. If you want material abundance, help others to become material abundant. It's been said that the easiest way to get what you want is to help others get what they want. If you want to be blessed with all of the good things in life, learn to silently bless everyone with all of the good things in life. And Suzanne's got this one down. Start with the process of divine circulation by making the decision that anytime you come in contact with someone, you will give them something. A compliment, a prayer, a blessing, a flower, gifts of caring, attention, affection, appreciation, and love are the most precious gifts you can get, the most precious gifts you can give. And they don't cost a thing. They don't cost anything. What is it they say that, smile at everyone you meet, they'll wonder what the heck you're up to, right? What we need is to change the balance, to put a little more into the flow than we take out, and thereby raise the level of the stream of life. In this way, everybody, including ourselves, will have a greater quantity to draw from. So don't just be fair, be more than fair. Don't just do your share of the work, go that extra mile. It's not enough to give love and friendship, give it back with an extra measure. Likewise with justice, kindness, cooperation, devotion, give back dividends. In any situation, find some way to give. Give your way into a new consciousness of affluence. This is one of the most important starting points in the study of the science, the spiritual truth, and one of the truth's most fundamental laws. So I want to conclude this morning by sharing with you a portion of an article by Jesse Jennings, and this was in the Science of Mind magazine, and he wrote, it's called The Test of Time. So this is what he wrote. I discovered that a lot of things that didn't make the least bit of sense to me when I first encountered this Science of Mind teaching now make more sense than anything else before or since. Two examples are unconditional love and the circulation of money. These new ideas seem to be putting the cart before the horse, if not dispensing with the horse altogether. How could I love someone without the guarantee of being loved back? Or give away my supply when I might later need it? Yet what emerges from the steady practice of the affirmative life makes me almost forget there ever was a time when I felt I could not trust the universe. Love is the risk that brave people take. Love is always returned often from unexpected sources. All the good I could possibly imagine is already at hand, and by giving generously of what I have, I open myself to experience more. So science of mind moves from being a technique to a whole way of being, of thinking, of feeling, and acting as though the very best of everything is fully, magnificently present, and turning the next corner to find that, in fact, it is. You can kind of sum that up by having fun, send more money, right? Yeah, just kind of sums that all up. So I ask you this morning, are you ready to give that good thing, whatever it is? Well, how about starting with the gifts, by giving the gifts that you were given? Let's all choose to be open to knowing what specifically we are ready to give. And let's think about what those gifts that we have already at hand, available, that we can freely give. And we'll give that good thing. And so it is.